In the news, stop the unnecessary sit-at-home and find immediate solution to the problem, Anambra Elders Council tells Southeasterners. Algeria's veteran of war for independence and former president dies at 84. Taliban replaces women's ministry with Ministry of Virtue and Vice, girls excluded as secondary schools reopen. Details coming up shortly. This is TOS Television, your digital first Pan-African news network. I am Merciful Ajinamo, and you're watching TOS News 360. The Anambra Elders Council has urged the people of the Southeast to stop the unnecessary sit-at-home order and find immediate solution to the problem. At the end of a meeting in Oka, the council issued a communique signed by Chief Emeka Anyoku, chairman of the council, and Igwe Nnemeka Achebe, the Obi of Onitsha, and chairman of the State Council of Traditional Rulers. The communique read in part, "We express concern that some non-state actors have been giving orders stopping people from working, including going to school and writing critical examinations. These orders have been detrimental to the people of not only Anambra State, but also the Southeast political zone. We advise Governor Willie Obiano to work in concert with the other Southeast governors, traditional rulers of communities, President General of town unions and other community leaders to end the stay-at-home orders by non-state actors." About 259 alleged suspects of banditry, kidnapping, culpable homicide, rape, farmers herders conflict and other crimes committed in August across 25 local government areas in Niger were arrested by State Police Command. Commissioner of Police in the state, Monday Kurias, made this known to newsmen in Mina on Saturday. He said that area commanders and divisional police officers in the 25 local government areas had been directed to beef up security architecture in their respective areas of supervision. The joint health sectors, unions and Assembly of Healthcare Professional Associations have halted their planned strike earlier scheduled to start on Saturday. The unions have on September 2nd resolved to lean on strike over unmet demand and issued a 15-day ultimatum to the federal government. Meanwhile, the National Executive Council in session stated it carefully reviewed the report of Johannesburg negotiation and conciliation meetings with federal government since announcement of 15-day strike notice and promised to clear any debt owed health workers. And the federal government has disclosed that it will appeal Oyo State High Court verdict which ordered the payment of 20 billion naira to Sunday Adeyemo, otherwise known as Igboho, for damages done during a raid in his house. The Judge Ladiran Akintola awarded 20 billion naira as exemplary and aggravated damages against the Secret Service and the Attorney General of the Federation over the invasion of Adeyemo's house in Ibadan, Oyo State on July 1st. Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, said that efforts were already being made to start the process in appealing the judgment. And to news across Africa, Abdelaziz Bouteflika, former Algerian president and veteran of Algeria's war for independence, has died at 84. The presidency said on Friday, more than 2 years after he stepped down under pressure from mass protests and the army. Bouteflika ruled the North African country for 2 decades before his resignation in April 2019 after street demonstrations rejecting his plan to seek a 5th term. Bouteflika joined the independence war against France at the age of 19. He was elected president in 1999. Since a stroke in 2013, he was rarely seen in public before his demise. This is your digital first Pan-African news network, TOS Television, and you're watching TOS News 360. Global business and sports stories on return this day. On the global scene, the United States military on Friday acknowledged a drone strike in Kabul last month that killed as many as 10 civilians, including 7 children, and also apologized for what it called a tragic mistake. The August 29 strike targeted an Islamic State suicide bomber who posed an imminent threat to U.S.-led troops at the airport as they completed the last stages of their withdrawal from Afghanistan, the Pentagon had said. It is rare for senior Pentagon officials to apologize personally for civilians killed in military strikes. However, the U.S. military does publish reports on civilians killed in operations around the world. Despite promises made to respect the rights of women and girls, the Taliban have excluded girls from Afghan secondary schools after they ordered only boys and male teachers to return to the classroom. Another sign Afghanistan is returning to the harsh rule of the 1990s is the replacement of Women Affairs Ministry with the Ministries of Prayer and Guidance and the Promotion of Virtue and Prevention of Vice that once enforced strict religious doctrines ruled between 1996 and 2001. Secondary schools are usually for students aged between 13 and 18. Most schools are also segregated, which would make it easy for the Taliban to close down schools for girls. Talking business, the African Development Bank says Africa needs $425 billion in additional gross financing by 2030. Its president, Akinwumi Adesina, disclosed in a statement that the Africa Investment Forum was set to host its 2021 Market Days in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire. Adesina said the bank looked forward to welcoming investors to join them in Abidjan and virtually to take the next step in Africa's growth. At the end of Friday's trading session, the Nigerian exchange market closed positive amidst sell-offs and buy interest as the benchmark all-share index appreciated by 8 basis points, while the market capitalization increased by 16.6 billion naira. The NGX ASI closed at 38,943.87 points to reflect a gain of 0.08% from the previous trading day. At the close of market on Friday, the stock exchange market value stood at 20.29 trillion naira from 20.27 trillion naira in the previous trading day. Its year-to-date return settled at minus 3.29%. In sports, Brazilian football icon Pelé is in a stable condition following his readmission to an intensive care unit for respiratory problems days after undergoing surgery for a suspected colon tumor. Pelé was discharged earlier this week but returned to Sao Paulo's Albert Einstein Hospital on Friday for a brief respiratory instability. Pelé, whose real name is Edson Arantes do Nascimento, is the only player in history to win 3 World Cups in 1958, 1962 and 1970. He is considered by many to be the greatest footballer of all time. And that is TOS News 360 on your digital first Pan-African news network. For more updates, visit www.tostvnetwork.com. Follow and like our social media handles on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. And remember to subscribe on YouTube. Stay with us and enjoy more programs on TOS Television Network. I am Merciful Ajinamo. Many thanks for watching.
But we as a continent are now defined